Good afternoon. How you doing? This is Jason Medlock, and this is also with me tonight.
Uncle Cliff in
All
the
right.
house.
This is Uncle Cliff and Little Brother, and we are live tonight. Uncle Cliff, it's been a while since we've been back on here. Work and just the day to day dealing with technology, and we're still putting this thing together. But whenever we come on, baby, it is nice.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of keep it warm for y'all.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna need you to wake it up a little bit, Uncle Cliff. Get you a drink because you love to have drinks. I mean, you need to get it
Yep,
going.
I'm finna get
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We didn't get on air to listen to you, but no, listen to this. I know that we had talked offline, and we were very, very, very passionate about our conversation because we were talking about high school football and
Right.
sort of the twist and turn. And you had something ludicrous to say about Duncanville. I don't even want to repeat it on air, but how do I feel about Duncanville now? I feel that Duncanville is a really quality football team, but what I can say is they need to stop scheduling the number one, number two, number three team in the country to see where we are. There's plenty of teams in the Dallas area, i.e., South Lake Carroll, if you want to see where you are. So let's stop with that. Let's give these kids a chance to compete. Not a blowout game. We don't want to see those blowout games anymore. We want them to compete. We like it that you go out and seek national attention, which is great. But let's put the kids in a place in a situation where they have some success.
You want to play football games like that at the high school and the college level, but you gotta know when. You gotta pick your poison at the right time. I mean, right at the gate, playing a team like there was a team from California, number one team in the country. I mean,
I think it's Martyr Day or something like that.
yeah, I mean, they just mopped the field. They went up and down the field on you. I mean, that wasn't a good game for Duncanville. Hopefully, they'll bounce back and regain some of that swag they had. But they knocked the swag right out of their mouth, didn't they?
They did, but the only bright spot I saw, you and I talked about this on the phone the other day, was Malachi Medlock. This
Oh yeah,
kid in the past two games has rushed for more than 325 yards. Whoa, okay. This kid's out here making an impact, and to that point, we were talking about it. He decommitted from Colorado State. What are your thoughts on that?
well, sometimes you got to do what you have to do, especially if they're not showing you the love. You have second thoughts. Kids, if you have second thoughts, decommit and see if there's a better place for you. See if there's somebody that's going to love you. Hey, I tell you one thing, you can tell us firsthand, little brother, on how a team, if they want to back out from you, what will they do?
Well, they'll be disinterested. They'll commit you, and then they'll start to not really talk to you in hopes that that would have you decommit from them. And the nerve of the Colorado State coach, I've had a chance to talk with one of the family members of Malachi Medlock, and the nerve of one of the coaches to tell them they've been busy. That's why they didn't get an official trip this summer because we were busy this summer. You know what you can do? Go kick rocks, and you go take that little program, Colorado State, and go flush it down the toilet.
Well, they feeling some kind of strength of courage. I think they had a good outing. Here last week, was it last week or week before last?
Well, we'll get to them. I mean, we'll
Yeah,
really get to them. Okay, we'll get
yeah.
to them.
Yeah, well, it's nowhere to be. It's good for Malachi. He's a superior talent. I mean, I think he's got elite talent, and he's going to do well. He's going to continue to carry that team on his big, strong shoulders. And guess what? Uncle Cliff, we're going to be drinking to him.
And you know what, Uncle Cliff? Those shoulder pads go north and south.
Up and
Okay,
down.
up and down. And if you don't want that helmet, you better
Yeah.
move out the way because he know what he's trying to do. Give you that helmet.
Oh yeah. Well, on many occasions after he gets up, he tell a young man, "This ain't what you want. This
Hey,
is not it."
this ain't. Hey, not
This.
THIS. This ain't what you looking for.
This ain't what you're looking for, good buddy. As he's stepping over a guy, right?
but but Uncle Cliff, you and I are not just confined to the area. We're national high school observers and regional, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Manville Mavericks and North Shore Mustangs and Shadow Creek and the powerhouses out of Houston. You know what? Out the gate, they all lost. The big three in Houston, they all lost. They still have quality programs, still have quality football players, but parity is setting in the Houston area. Uh,
Well, me personally, Little brother, I was at the Manville game with you. We were checking out nephew and this and that. I mean, Manville lost, but they didn't lose. I don't know if you care to explain that. You know, you and I both witnessed a debacle of, gargantuan proportion. Isn't that the word that I use sometimes? Gargantuan.
Yeah,
You down
yeah.
with that?
Well, let's say epic proportion.
Which means the gargantuan. Oh my God! Explain that, little brother. Break it down and analyze what we saw. Because I
I
still
tell
don't
you
believe my
what.
eyes. I
I
still
tell,
don't believe my eyes. What my
I
eyes
tell,
showed me.
I tell you what. This will sum it up. The score was 45-42.
42. That's the end score, final score.
Manville gave up 17 points on special teams. That's all you need
It,
to know.
well, if you talk about straight up points, but when you add the points that they didn't get because they had a blocked field goal that a guy ran
Well,
back for a touchdown, that's 10 points. Oh, you
I
okay?
just said,
Okay.
I just said that they gave up 17, 19 points on special teams. They lost 42-45. That tells the whole story.
That tells the whole
Special
story.
teams, that's coaching. That's coaching. So we
Well,
have to. That's coaching and that's execution. And when it's so many points given away on special teams, you got to lean more towards coaches. And I love all our coaches at Manville. I don't want to say anything that would be out of line, but it is what it is. It's
it's a tough
17 to
job.
19 points. On special teams, I mean, we have to figure out what the problem is, and there is a serious problem. But I have no doubt they'll get it fixed, and we'll go on. We have a
What
game tomorrow night, and they play. I believe who do they play tomorrow night, Uncle Cliff?
you want to move on? I still want to talk about the 2 minute warning. I thought you were gonna hit that a little bit. Just touch that 2 minute drill. Okay, we got a minute and 50 seconds left to go in the game. The score is 42-45. We
Well,
got
let's
the
say
ball on the 30-yard line in a minute and
Manville
47.
Dickerson, Manville Dickerson game. Let's make sure everybody knows who we're talking about.
Right.
Manville Dickerson.
Manville versus Dickerson. We down there in Kemah, right down on the shore, where the waves come up on the shore and the yachts are sailing. We're right down there in paradise. And the score is 42-45. I want to set the scene for our audience. If we were in paradise, we could smell the waves and the seagulls and all that. And it's 42-45, and everybody's feeling good. We're gonna win this game. We're at the 30-yard line, and with two timeouts, I believe, in a minute and 47 seconds. Explain to us, little bro, what happened.
Well, the offensive coordinator called a reverse, and he lost yards. A reverse, ladies and gentlemen. Later I was told that he left. He forgot his play sheet at the school. I think he's been the coordinator at Manville for maybe 5 years, but he
Oh, wait a
forgot his
minute.
play.
He
Yeah,
forgot
I
his
don't
play
know.
sheet. Okay.
Yeah, he forgot his play sheet.
Is that why
So
it took him almost a minute to run another play after he ran in the reverse? And it was like almost just 37 seconds or whatever left to go in the game. After it was a minute 47, you won one play, and you can't get another play call until a minute runs off the clock. How do you explain that?
well, I think that he wasn't able to get to the locker room and plug up the PlayStation to get that play he needed. So he just found himself in a pickle, and he just wasn't able to pull it off. So he called a reverse, which was a blunder of epic proportion.
And then tell him about it's 3 seconds left. 3 seconds left to go in the game, and we send a guy out there to kick a field goal that's cramping up. The guy comes out there limping with one leg.
Well, I'll tell you what. I started the game was lost 45-42, and Mando gave us 17 points on special team. Let's move on
Look,
to somebody else.
so you can't make this stuff up. Our audience think we diving. This is a true story, everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, little brother. We had enough fun with that.
Well, North Shore took a loss. Shadow Creek took a loss. I expect these programs to bounce back, and they're good football programs. But sometimes the first part of the year, even for good teams, can be brutal. And but high school football is shaping up. It's looking very, very well for Texas. I mean, we have TexansLive.com, the NHFS.com. I mean, all of the games are televised. The actual the state of Texas UIL does an outstanding job with the brackets. You and I frequently, and our nephews go to the games every year at Jerry's World. It is a I want to take my hat off to the UIL, the Texas High School Coaches Association. They do a wonderful job. We may get on here and laugh and joke, but
Right.
Texas is the beacon of success for all states to look at when you're trying to put on high school football playoffs, championship series, and so forth. So hats off to the Texas High School Football Association.
We have a little fun and poke a little fun at the play call and this and that, but the coaches in Texas, I haven't met a one that's not absolutely dedicated to the kids and the time they spend with these young men and the role models that they portray, discipline, hard work, that type of thing. You just can't say enough about those guys. Yeah, we all get in the stands and hoorah them and all that, but we just got like little brother just said, we got to tip our hats to those guys. They just do an outstanding job with our children in so many ways. So we just want to tell them thank you. But
Before we get off, no. Before we get off this high school thing, let's talk about one more game that's coming up this week.
Okay.
Duncanville, DeSoto. Now, let's talk about the I-20 corridor. Lancaster, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto. Need I say more? Arlington, Bowie, all the Arlington schools, all the Grand Prairie schools.
Well, the Metroplex, right here in the Metroplex, in North Texas, around here in Denton and all that, we got the best talent in the United States. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Houston, y'all do y'all little thing down there, but in North Texas, this is a hotbed. You know that. Y'all do your little thing down there, but in Texas, with the amount of schools and the talent, man, we got South Lake Carroll. Did you mention them?
I said I-20 corridor. Within that span on the I-20 corridor, it's amazing talent. In the I-20 corridor, that's what the recruiters, when they come to town, they know if they go up and down I-20, that they'll hit these major powerhouse schools, and they don't have to go anywhere else. It's just amazing.
Well, that's basically the little suburb of the hood. Right, that's where that 20 corridor you're speaking of. The hood is the inner city, right? And just south of the hood, you got you got all those schools with all those dollars and all that support. But don't forget about South Oak Cliff and Velt, VELT. I mean, we don't have the big behind us, in the inner city. But that all the inner city kids move out there. And that's what little brother's speaking of.
Well, I'll leave you with this, and we'll move on to college. Now, when an inner city school, let's just say DeSoto, plays South Lake Carroll in the playoffs, we name it in Dallas. We name it the apartments versus the houses.
The middle class or whatever,
No, the apartments versus suburbs. Now, what we have coming up, Duncanville and DeSoto clashing this weekend. Apartments versus apartments. Well, and it's going to be a very nice one. But we're going to move on to college football, Uncle Cliff. And I know, we got a lot to cover with the college football scene, baby. A whole lot.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And you don't need to see us talk about this, but I want to go back, Uncle Cliff. I want to go back, and I want to look at this game right there. I got the map. Talk to me. How?
You know what? I saw that game, and I watched it as much as I could, but it was just so pathetic. It was deserving of a head coach being fired right after the buzzer.
Well, let's not. We're going to always pride ourselves with correct information. But before the season, Randy Edsall told the team that he would be retiring at the end of the season. He then goes out and his team loses 45-0 to Fresno State. Later the next week, they're preparing for Purdue, and the players got together and said, you know what? Since you decided you were going to check out this early in the year before we even play, let's go and get you out of here. And so what really happened, Uncle Cliff, is that he sped his retirement up, and he went ahead and retired right before the Purdue game. Now, retirement, forced out, but we have no indication he was fired. But in apartment terms, they told you to hit the door and don't let it hit on your ass on the way out.
Well, the definition of insanity, which we've heard so many times. You trying something the same way and it's not working, but you keep trying it anyway with the hope that it's going to work and you get the same result. I mean, so many times you get football coaches to say, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do because this is what my playbook say, and this is what I taught. I was raised on this, and this is what we do." Even though it's not working, and that's what happened to Connecticut. And you know what? To the coach's defense, nothing was working.
Well, I tell you what, okay, we're going to scroll through this real quickly. And I tell you what, we're going to look for a game that you and I talked about. We look now, here we go. The first game of the year, number 45-31, Ohio State won. But we knew, Uncle Cliff, it was going to be some problems, the following week. Let's talk about Minnesota and Ohio State right quick.
Well, you can see that. I watched that game, and the score doesn't do justice the job that Minnesota did. Minnesota fought and scratched, and Ohio State they was in a dogfight. Even though the 45-31 score doesn't reflect that. So I saw what was coming that we saw the following week.
Okay, now let me turn your attention to Oklahoma Tulane. We saw that game too. I need your thoughts real quick.
Real fast. OU, I mean, you won, but you really didn't win. But okay.
Okay, I love it, Uncle Cliff. Okay, number 25 Michigan clashed with Western Michigan, and they won 47-14. Now, a lot of people are saying, is it fool's gold or is Michigan back? What do you think?
It's fool's gold.
It's fool's gold. I love your one-word answers. Now, let's go. There's one more game of interest. Alabama, Miami, the first game of the year.
Miami again. I'm not going to say they're Connecticut, but the coaches had the same mindset. And again, you're outmatched with Alabama. Alabama's going to do that to everybody. But, I believe Miami could have maybe scored more than 13 points. But, it's good that they just got out of there with everybody relatively healthy.
Well, we're going to quickly get to week 2, Cliff. And there are some things that I want to show you on week 2. And we got to talk about number 4 Oregon playing number 9 Ohio State, 35-28. What did you see?
Well, I saw this score did not reflect the beatdown that Ohio State took. I mean, their defensive line, they got mauled. I mean, Oregon, I don't know why they didn't beat them by 2 touchdowns. I think Ohio State was favorite, 2-touchdown favorite. Oregon was 2-touchdown dog. But Oregon should have won that game by 2 touchdowns going away. Ohio State made a desperate attempt to come back in the end. Guys, this score doesn't reflect the beating that Ohio State took at the hands of Oregon Ducks.
You know what I saw, Uncle Cliff? I saw the same thing I saw in the national championship game with Bama putting that speed on them linebackers. I saw big 6'4", 240, 250 linebackers in the game that could not run side to side, could not pursue. Oregon was too damn fast.
Well, okay. They needed those linebackers because they cut through that defensive line like butter, and those linebackers weren't there. You're right; they ran away from those guys.
Number 7 Texas A&M faced Colorado and almost lost. What's going on here?
It's hype, A&M. They got this recruiting class. They got that recruiting class. That goes to show you, boys and girls. Sometimes 5 stars. It ain't all about that. How you gonna put them together, and how do they play together? How are they coached? Colorado should have won that football game.
Absolutely. We only talk about UConn because, ladies and gentlemen, number 80, Jace Medlock, is Uncle Cliff's nephew, and he's my son.
Nephew.
And that's my son. And they were beaten 49-0. We caught it. We don't know what in the world they can do to turn that program around, but we're going to glance over that and we're going to just keep on going. But I tell you what, I'm glad that S-Style is not there anymore, that program. But you know what? I want to stop right here. Murray State, Cincinnati. This head football coach, Luke Finkel at Cincinnati, is a dude.
He knows how to play. I mean, he plays to win. He don't play to go by the coaching black book or this is what we should run and da-da-da. Man, he plays to win. If, it's pedal to the metal. If you show him a weakness or if there's a crack in the pool, he's going to bust that sucker open.
I'll tell you what. Now, there's one more game that we need to talk about, and it is the University of Texas. I don't know what's going on. They actually really got their teeth kicked in by Arkansas. Give me your thoughts on that game before we move to the upcoming schedule for the week.
My thought is Texas. Do you realize who just whipped you? Arkansas. They are mediocre in the SEC. And do you really want that? Is that what you really want to smoke that wagon? I tell you what, welcome to the SEC, buddy. And you just got shellacked by a mediocre team in the SEC.
That's just my baby dad. I mean, that's just my Uncle Cliff. That's just my Uncle Cliff. I'll tell you what. Now we're gonna get your picks because I love to get your take. Michigan State and Miami. What you got?
I got to think that the Miami's going to come out and they're going to play call a much better game, a game that's suited to their talents. I believe you got to run the football, but you don't run it on first and second down and then leave your quarterback on 3rd and 8 in a bad situation. I mean, they're going to figure it out, I believe, and do a much better job. And I think Michigan State is going to be a challenge for them. Because Miami, they're still trying to find their way. But I think the Miami Hurricanes will find a way to pull that one out.
Okay, UConn and Army.
UConn and Army. I'm gonna go with Army. I'm sorry.
I hear you. Now we're gonna go to Tulsa and Ohio State.
I think Ohio State's gonna bounce back. Tulsa's not gonna lay down for them. They smell blood in the water. They look like sharks. So I'm gonna go with Ohio State by 7.
Okay, Alabama, Florida. Both teams are 2-0. Now, Bama, you ain't playing Miami, okay? And you just beat up on some other small schools. Now you got Florida. What's gonna happen?
Bama by 21 points.
You know what? You know what? Sit down somewhere, Florida. Sit down. Okay? Because Alabama ain't playing with nobody this year.
Nobody.
Okay?
Bama going to do it to everybody.
They're going to do it to everybody this year. We got U of A playing Grambling. Now, that's kind of down here by us. And you got Grambling Tigers coming in. Who do you expect to come out on top of that game?
U of H.
U of H is, we have to talk about our hometown people. Now, James Franklin, the head coach at Penn State, name has been floating around for the USC job. They face Auburn, number 10 versus 22. They're both at 2-0. Who you got for that game?
You know what? I just thought about something, and I don't want to throw you off your rhythm because you're in a hell of a rhythm, little brother. Mm-hmm. But you didn't touch on Jackson State and what they did to who was that? They did that to. They did that to Florida State.
Absolutely. We're gonna say primetime before we end our whole segment because I got a lot to talk. I got a lot to say about primetime. Go ahead.
Well, that wasn't primetime team, was it? Was that Jackson State? Is that?
Absolutely. We're gonna say let's finish this right here. We're gonna get to Deion.
Okay, apologies. All right. What do I think about Penn State and Auburn? Penn State 2 touchdowns.
Penn State 2 touchdowns. I love it. Now I want to move you real quickly. UCLA, they're 2-0. They're going to play Fresno State. I know who you're going to pick, but talk to me about UCLA. They pounded LSU last week. Now they got Fresno State. Is UCLA real, Uncle Cliff?
UCLA, but let me tell you something, man. The Pac-10 to me is very, very attractive. I mean, if your recruits are listening, any of your recruits listening, you guys need to listen to the Pac-10. Pac-10 just fired the coach at USC. They're rich with tradition. USC, UCLA, Oregon. The Pac-10 is I'm taking in them this year. I think this might be the year of the Pac.
Now we need to let the good people see us talk. Now we got to talk about Coach Prime.
That's right.
Coach Prime. Now,
I know that was Coach Prime's team, no lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have to. Let's just talk about this, and we're gonna be real delicate. If you follow the SWAC, every coach in the SWAC, mostly all of them, they hating on Deion Sanders. He too this and I want to see how he do now. Deion bringing you TV deals. Deion bringing money and eyes. 1 million people watched Jackson State play Florida A&M on ESPN. 1 million people.
Yeah.
I just want us to stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it. This brother, he flashed. Yeah, he's prime time. Everybody know who he is. But you know what he's done? You know what he's done, Uncle Cliff? He's worked with kids for as long as we can remember here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Absolutely.
He's had all kind of all-star baseball teams, all kind of all-star football teams, little league,
educational school.
He did a school. He trusted people to run the school. They didn't do right with the school. Deion has been investing in kids since he's been in Dallas.
Yeah, get him in his flowers.
Just stop it. But let's talk about he 2-0.
Yeah.
He had a rough spring.
Yeah.
A lot of kids transferred. I get people calling me. You see Deion running everybody out. I said, what head coach don't get a job and have to kind of move some guys around?
Yeah.
Why are you guys on Deion like this?
Right.
Now, I don't know Deion personally. I'm just saying. I watch him and I see him, flamboyant. But what I do know is he loved them kids and he worked. Have you seen his pregame speeches? Deion Sanders is a good football coach, and I tell you who USC needs. I'm gonna throw you the Uncle Cliff and little brother pick. I think USC would be fools if they didn't go get prime time, and so he can reinvent that program, bring some swag to it, bring his spice to it. Get out the way, get your ass out the kitchen. If I'm gonna buy the groceries, you gotta let me cook them, and let prime time get those big time players back in USC. He getting them at Jackson State. He certainly can do it at USC with a budget. You go ahead, Cliff. What you got?
Well, look, I'm just gonna say this: Jackson State, okay, HBCU school, all right, a bottom feeder historically. Primetime got there last year. This year, what they do? They went to Tallahassee. Okay, and they put in a Florida State. Deion wanted that school, that job. They turned him down there. And what did he do? Okay, I'm gonna go HBCU. And he come back up there, and what did he do? He gave it to him. All right, so I totally agree that look, SC, they would be foolish not to give primetime a definitely good look.
Well, he doesn't have that kind of experience at this level. Look, are you kidding me?
Look here. I'll just say, what's that guy's name? The head coach for Arizona Cardinals now.
That's you know what? We can't even remember his damn name.
I don't even know his name. The only experience he had was at Texas Tech, and they run him off from there. Okay, didn't he get fired from there?
Well, let's just say that it was time for you to pack up.
Well, they run him off from there, and he was going to take an assistant job somewhere. And Arizona said, "Wait a minute, we want you to be our head coach."
Well, he took an assistant job at USC.
There you go. Sure did.
And then he got the job at Arizona, which, you know what? Okay, they do that anyway. But I just want to say, think about it. I don't know who watching our podcast.
Well,
Deion Sanders can absolutely recruit.
You know what? Now you're going to think I'm crazy, little bro, for saying this, but I like to see primetime. Now, I don't know Manny Diaz. I don't have nothing against him, but I like to see prime down in Miami.
Well, I like to see him at Florida State, where that's his alma mater. That's where he made his name. I wouldn't like to see him in Miami. I would like to see Ed Reed or Ray Lewis take control of that program. I like to see Deion at Florida State. Florida State had a chance to hire him. They should have. He would have brought talent in there. If USC, they came out with their list today. Not USC, but some of the pundits came out with their list, and they had white boy.
Well, that's what it is. That's all they know. I mean,
that's the top five. Now James Franklin was in there. That's just James Franklin. Then the bottom five, white boy. Now we not prejudiced, and we say that in tongue in cheek. But I mean, are there not any brothers out there that can do the job?
Well, that's the fabric of America. The fabric of America, which is sewn tightly together, is a certain class of people, a group of people, get all the opportunities, and all the breadcrumbs or the scraps and whatnot. They'll toss them to us and see what we can make of it. So that's just the truth.
I tell you what. Now I tell you we're gonna spend some time on. We're gonna spend some time on Coach Prime. I told everybody who would listen. I think Coach Prime knows my son. He knows Jace Medlock because he was at the private school that he won state championship, Trinity Christian, when we were at DeSoto. And my son was at Chili's one day, and they said that when he walked by a table, Deion was sitting there with some kids, and they said Deion told the kids, "That's Jace Medlock, the tight end at DeSoto, right there." So Deion prides himself on knowing all the kids. Mm-hmm. What I want to say is this: is that his son, Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback, I've seen him play. I saw him in 7-on-7 more than one time because my son Justin Medlock plays linebacker for Manville High School, commit to the University of Miami. And Jace played in a lot of these tournaments. I saw Shedeur. I knew he had an arm. This is a big kid now. This is a 6'2", 230-pound, 225-pound kid. This kid is nice. Look at what he's doing in his 2 games. He's undefeated. FAMU is a good program, Uncle Cliff. And now he throwing that football with accuracy and speed. One of the commentators said, "Look out when he get into his grown man body. You could be looking at a Sunday kid." I'm gonna go out on a limb right now. That kid right there, that his son, the quarterback, Shadir Sanders, will play on Sunday. I'm gonna tell you right now. He got the arm strength. He has the accuracy. And let me just say, he got the arm strength. That kid can throw the football.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Prime was saying last season. Wait till I get my guys in there, because I'm not surprised some kids are having to leave. Because he's got a standard, and that's what, if you want to have a winning program, you have to have a standard. And if some people aren't meeting that standard, guess what? They got to go. I mean, that's just the way of the world.
And I got a good buddy who has a son on the team, and we go back and forth. And he was like, "Well, Prime running everybody off." I said, "No, he not. They see what he want of them, and they running themselves off."
Yeah, they can't do it. You can't do it. Like you said, it's 2 ways. Either you do it or you don't. Now, if you don't, here's the don't do it.
Well, my 2 ways.
It's a chair.
Here are my 2 ways. It's my way and my way. Those are the 2 ways I don't think I know. But I tell you what, we're gonna flip the script and we're gonna move over to the NFL conversation. And I tell you what, Uncle Cliff,
Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? But I tell you this. We need to really, 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 try to look at what is the mystique of the injuries, and then they start out good and they losing players. DeMarcus Lawrence is out with a broken foot for 6 to 8 weeks. What is going on with the Cowboys? They got some promise, but then on the other side, they got dark energy a cloud hanging over the team.
I mean, you got to point the finger at Jerry Jones. I mean, Jerry Jones has his thumb on everything. I mean, from the jocks to all the cash is in the bank. I mean, and good Lord, he's made a whole lot of cash. He's doing great in that regard. But when it comes to football, the karma that he just follows him around is not good karma. I mean, Jerry, he's a selfish guy, and he's always talking about team and this and that, but it's all about him. And that's why, I believe that you reap, the seed that you sow, that's the fruit that you harvest.
I'll tell you what, before we start our NFL conversation, I want you to do your signature line, your signature, and I'm going to introduce your new signature line that you normally do, okay? And that you normally do, and that it's one of the Western lines by both our favorite Western actor, Clint Eastwood, okay? So,
I know exactly.
I want you to say that, and then we're going to move on to our NFL segment.
Yeah, you bounty hunter boy. Man's got to do something for a living. Dying ain't much of a living, boy. This ain't necessary. You can just turn around.
Yeah. Hey, dying ain't much of a living.
Yeah, dying ain't much of a living, boy.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get to the NFL, and right now I want you to do your famous Uncle Cliff one-liners when I go to the team. 29-31 Tampa Bay. Talk to me.
Winners win and losers lose, and look who won that game. Cowboys lost and Tampa Bay won.
Okay, Pittsburgh Buffalo 23-16. What you think?
Like I said, winners win. Okay, big games. Pittsburgh, that head coach they got, what's that guy's name? He's a mean son of a you-know-what.
Absolutely.
He wins football games, man. He don't care. That's all he needs is a shoestring and a can, and he'll win a football game. What a
San Francisco 41, Detroit 33. Get at me, Uncle Cliff.
Who cares?
Seattle 28, and I love you, Uncle Cliff, because you know what? You just keep it real, baby. Seattle 28, Indianapolis 16. Where we at?
Russell Wilson is the man.
I heard that. New York 14, first round pick. They took that guy. They didn't take the kid from Ohio State, Justin, and Carolina 19. How'd you feel about that?
Again, who cares?
Cleveland 29, Kansas City 33. That was
My
a net.
homeboy. My homeboy. Let me tell you something about my homeboy.
Yes, sir.
He worth every nickel they paying him. They underpaying that man. He should have got $550. You know, they gave him $450. Yeah, they gave him $450. He should have got $550, little bro.
$550. We're gonna speed this up. Okay, Green Bay number three, New Orleans Saints 38. I was disappointed in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, come on, Aaron, but go ahead, Cliff.
Man, Aaron Rodgers don't give up. Can't you see I don't give up? Because the guy in this movie said, "Can't you see the guy's crazy?" And the other guy said, Can't you see I don't give up?" You know.
Chicago 14, Los Angeles Rams 34. What you say?
The head coach of Chicago will soon be fired.
Baltimore 27, the Raiders 33 on Monday Night Football.
What a game. I saw that. What a game. I saw that game.
Raiders.
Oh, my goodness. What a game. But you know what? The Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl as soon as Aaron Rodgers gets out of Green Bay and signs with Las Vegas. Remember, Uncle Cliff said that. All right?
Ooh. Denver 27, New York Giants 13.
Denver. They're a good football team again. What a good organization. Denver's a great organization, okay? Every year they're going to do their thing.
Miami 17, New England 16. Cam Newton's not there. Tua Tagovailoa is starting quarterback from Alabama and Miami. And then you got the starter at New England, the first-round pick this year out of Alabama.
Well, you know, Nick Saban is just awesome a college football coach. He just turns them out. He got starting quarterbacks all over the league.
Tyrod Taylor 37 for Houston. Jacksonville 21. How about Tyrod Taylor winning the opening season game?
He's a solid quarterback. You know, he's going to win, 7, 8 games a year. You know, he's at least 500, but I don't think he's a starter. But, yeah, he's a solid quarterback.
Chargers 20-16 over the Redskins.
The Chargers got a good football team. They've been having a good football team. For some reason, they can't put it together. They can't put everything together. Washington, hey, they're not going anywhere.
Arizona 38, Kyler Murray. Tennessee 13. Tennessee had a balling team last year. Kyler Murray, have they figured it out with Cliff Kingsbury as head coach?
Kyler Murray, I'm with Kingsbury. If Kyler Murray was in the draft, I'd draft him over first overall.
Minnesota 24, Cincinnati 27. Joe Burrows is back. He got the opening day win.
You know, Joe Burrows, I love the way his game is, but too bad he plays for Cincinnati.
Jalen Hurts, another Alabama quarterback starting in the NFL. There's 3 of them. Atlanta 6, Jalen Hurts 32. Give me something on Cliff.
They played Atlanta.
Oh God, I love the hot takes on Uncle Cliff. Okay, here we go. Week is coming up, Uncle Cliff. The Giants, the New York Giants, and the Washington Redskins. NFC East battle. What we got, baby?
Giants by 3.
Houston and Cleveland. What you got?
Look at here.
I know now. I never thought I'd say this. I kind of like Baker growing up. I love it.
Yeah, are they playing in Houston?
It says
well, it doesn't matter. I'm taking Cleveland.
You're gonna take Cleveland. Buffalo and Miami.
Buffalo.
Okay, San Francisco, Philadelphia.
That's San Francisco.
Okay, I'm gonna take Philadelphia on that one. New York. Carolina, New Orleans Saints.
The Saints.
Can you start licking your finger like Jameis Winston? I'm going to take the Saints, too. Minnesota Vikings, Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona.
I got that. Dallas and the Chargers.
I'm pulling for the Cowboys. I'm seeing blue, but the Chargers are tough now. Chargers are tough.
My homeboy against Baltimore. Who you got?
God, the Chiefs, man. Too much firepower for Baltimore.
Oh, God. Detroit and Green Bay, Uncle Cliff. Talk to me.
Green Bay. I don't care if Rodgers don't want to play. He can beat Detroit with his eyes closed and with one leg.
Tennessee and Seattle. Talk to me.
Seattle. Thought about that hard.
Atlanta, Tampa Bay.
Let me see. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Let me see. Oh, come on, man. Tampa Bay. Why are we talking about this? By 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I think Atlanta actually stinks this year.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Tampa Bay by 3 touchdowns.
Denver and Jacksonville. Need I say more?
Yeah, we shouldn't even cover that. Denver by 10 points at least.
Now here we go. The game of the week. The Raiders in Pittsburgh.
My goodness. Yeah, that's going to be at night. Is that a night game? Is it 12 p.m.? Oh wow.
It's going to be at 12.
That's an early game. I'm gonna make sure. I tell you what, Pittsburgh don't gonna be too much for the Raiders.
New York, New England,
New England,
Los Angeles, Indianapolis.
the Rams,
I got you. Cincinnati, Chicago.
Cincinnati, Chicago. They can't. They too stupid to win. The head coach, they won't win anything with this guy. I mean, the guy's a moron. The guy's a moron. He's gonna get himself fired. And he knows it. I don't know why.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
He's Andy Dalton, and you got the number one. You got this kid that's all everything. Okay.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you're starting Andy Dalton. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
I want to remind you guys. If you want to listen to our podcast, go to anchor.fm/dashboard. Anchor.fm/dashboard. We've now just got on Spotify. We're on Apple. This podcast is growing tremendously, so I want you guys to be able to check that out. And there it is right there at the bottom of the screen. And you can always come to the YouTube channel, or just go to Anchor, or go to any of the podcasts and put on Uncle Cliff and Little Brother. Uncle Cliff,
I got a question for you, real fast, little brother. Now, what makes this guy from Chicago the head coach there? Now, this guy's complete. Just a complete idiot. I mean, what makes him more qualified than prime time? I mean, would you rather have this guy coaching the team or prime time? I mean, I tell you what. I mean, I've seen enough of that guy.
How do you not start Justin Fields after what he did in the preseason? He showed you he was ready, and then you go out there and lose the opening game? I mean, I don't get that. Deion Sanders could come right now and coach the Chicago Bears better than this. I know the guy's name, and we won't know his name after the season's over with because he's going to be gone.
He's going to be gone for the season. He won't last the next game. Especially if he keeps starting Andy Dalton. Only way he'll last if the owner told him, don't
stop it. You stop it. You told me you weren't going to act ignorant on the air, and here you go.
You know I told a damn lie when I said
that. You starting Andy Dalton over Justin Fields?
Oh, my God. Did you not see what Andy did last year? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. We saw what he did last year. But I want to take the time. I cannot reiterate enough the job that Coach Prime is doing in the SWAC. And whoever's watching this podcast, I don't care who you are, where you are, and we talk a lot of stuff, but we mean well.
Yeah.
But y'all get off Prime back.
Yeah, give him his flowers, man. He deserves it.
Get off it. Stop crabbing the bucket. The same thing they do with these HBCUs.
Find out about that man's record. This man, he cares about kids. I mean, he cares about the HBCU. I mean, I want to just give him a hug when I see him and say, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing excitement to the HBCU football landscape. Thank you for recruiting 5 stars and 4 stars that believe in you to come to your school. And if he can do it there, he can do it for USC. Mark my words, USC, you better have him on the candidate list. But you know what? He probably won't talk to you at the end of the year because he like where he is.
There you go. I'm Uncle Cliff.
And I'm Little Brother, and we appreciate you being with us, and we're gonna go ahead and sign off. But until then, give us another one. I was gonna build a house, William Buddy.
Yeah, well, I guess you're gonna have to build it in hell. Bam! See y'all.
Good night.